The grocery list. Once there was a sweet but very forgetful grandmother named Mrs. Thompson. She loved her family and always wanted to make their favorite dishes. But there was one problem: she couldn't remember her grocery lists. Every time she went to the store, she would forget half the things she needed. One day, Mrs. Thompson decided to try something new. She thought, if I write everything down in a notebook and take it with me, I won't forget anything. So, she wrote a list for the week. Apples, bread, milk, butter, eggs. She double-checked her list, put it in her purse, and went to the grocery store feeling very proud of herself. But when she got to the store, things started to go wrong. The store was full of people, and it was noisy. Mrs. Thompson quickly got distracted. As she reached into her purse to check her list, she accidentally pulled out her glasses instead. Without realizing it, she tried to read her list through the wrong end of her glasses and squinted at what she thought was her list. She started walking through the aisles, murmuring to herself, "Okay. Apples," but instead of picking up apples, she grabbed a big bag of potatoes. She put them in her cart and moved on, feeling very confident. Next, she read, bread. She went over to the bread aisle, but somehow ended up picking a bag of dog treats instead. She didn't even have a dog. She just tossed them in the cart and kept going. The third item was milk, so she walked to the dairy section, but she ended up picking up a bottle of whipping cream. "This is going to be the creamiest milk ever," she said, smiling. Then, for butter, she found a bright yellow container that looked perfect. But instead of butter, it was a tub of mustard. She looked at it and said to herself, butter looks a little different these days," and into the cart it went. Finally, she reached eggs. She picked up a carton, but she didn't see that it was actually a box of donuts. She put them in her cart, thinking, "These eggs sure look delicious." When she got to the checkout, the cashier looked at her cart with a confused smile. "Is this everything for you, ma'am?" he asked, trying not to laugh. Mrs. Thompson looked at her cart, feeling a little unsure. "Well, I think so," she replied. The cashier scanned the potatoes, dog treats, whipping cream, mustard, and donuts, but he just couldn't help himself. "Ma'am," he said with a chuckle, "this looks like a very interesting shopping list." Mrs. Thompson looked at her items, gasped, and laughed. "Oh my goodness, I think I need new glasses." When she got home, her family was waiting eagerly to see what she had brought from the store. "Did you get the groceries, Grandma?" asked her grandson. Mrs. Thompson laughed and said, "Well, I got groceries, but they might not be what you expected." She showed them the dog treats, potatoes, whipping cream, mustard, and donuts, and everyone burst into laughter. From that day on, her family made sure to go shopping with her whenever possible. And Mrs. Thompson never went to the store without double-checking her list and her glasses.